Okay, so I was asked by Stephanie to just share my personal story with you guys, um, which always makes me feel kind of awkward. I don't know, because it's not a very extremely dramatic story to some people. They might not think that, but it's it's been enough to make me really excited about this opportunity to be a Beachbody coach and the possibilities within this company that call out to passions that I have already, which is really cool. It's kind of one of those opportunities that seem too good to be true to me and the type of person that I am. So anyway, Sophie Bea is my coach. She's amazing. And I met Sophie several years ago when she was a teenager. I think she was like 16 years old. We went to South Africa together for a service trip with the church that we were at the time. And I can always remember just being super impressed with her as a teenager even, and thinking, geez, this girl has got her stuff together. And just kind of feeling weird that I was an adult and wanted to be her friend. So there was that, but she just really had something in her that really was appealing to me as far as her personality and her drive and her passion for life in general. Anyway, I moved away from Cincinnati and our paths kind of went in separate directions. She was in Africa for a while, and then we kind of reconnected on Facebook. And just this past year, back in January, I saw Sophie post her pictures from her 21-day fix experience. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a fitness instructor, certified through the American Aerobics and Fitness Association. I always get it messed up, AFA, the Aerobics and Fitness Association of America. Anyway, I've taught Pilates and yoga and kickboxing. I currently teach Zumba. So I have a passion for fitness. I've always been a very active person. And as far as my own personal diet, it's always just kind of been up and down. I've gained a lot of weight with a couple of my pregnancies in the past, a lot of weight, and like a lot of weight, and felt very uncomfortable because I've never had an issue with that in the past. And so it was really bizarre, and I didn't feel like I was in my own skin. And so I'd heard people doing low carb diet, and I did that, and I was able to get the weight off, but I never felt good. Like I just never felt physically energized, and just felt good. And I hated it. I hated the way of eating. It was a means to an end. It was not a lifestyle. And so then that was my kind of history with my own personal health and wellness. And then I saw Sophie's post about this 21-day fix, and I had just weaned now she's about to be 2, my second child. I had just finished nursing her and was just tired of feeling run down all the time. And I saw this post and I thought, this basically just looks like it's teaching how to eat like a grown-up should eat. And I really want to see if this affects my energy levels. I still had a little bit of weight I wanted to lose. And so I contacted Sophie because she was my friend, and I trusted her pictures more than I trusted even Beachbody's pictures on a commercial, because they could Photoshop those for all I know. So I contacted her and told her I wanted to give the program a try, and that was back in March. And I was sold immediately, just from the way that I felt immediately. And I had never done, even though I'm a fitness instructor, I'd never done a whole lot of strength training in my life ever before. So to deal with hand weights and things like that was a really nice opportunity. And I had pretty nice results my first round, and I had people asking me about what I was doing. I was never into selling anything to anybody. I wasn't even a coach at that point, and I was telling people, this is what I'm doing, and they were asking me if they could join me, and I'm like, well, okay, you know, and I contacted Sophie and I told her, and she said, well, you know, maybe you should just sign up as a recruiter coach, you know, a discount coach, because she knew I was like, no, I do not want to get into this at all. Do not try to get me to be a coach, because it's not for me. I'm not going to be selling people products and blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, it's okay. You know, you don't have to. Just here's your link, and that way you can give it to them, and they can do their deal through you. And I was like, okay. So I set up my accounts, my direct deposit accounts, and all that stuff, just to have the thing happen automatically. It was a little. Actually, I had been a Mary Kay consultant before this, which was another reason I didn't want to do this. So I was like, no, I am done. Mandy is not a business owner. It's just not me. And so I had this leftover little free checking account that I set up all my stuff to go in and out of for my Shakeology and all that stuff, because I did want to do Shakeology too, and the discount was nice. And so I was giving people my links because they were asking me, hey, are you doing that? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sure, yeah, here's the link. And so I was loosely doing what I thought a challenge group was like. I even started my own free Facebook group just because I'm like, well, how hard can it be, right? I just put them in this group and we all do it together, right? And so we were doing our thing, and then 2 months went by, and I got my paper statement in the mail from this checking account. And I really honestly wasn't even paying. I just knew if I had sold a certain amount of challenge packs, I was paying for my shakes and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't really even paying attention to it. And I looked, and in 2 months, I had made $600 without approaching anybody about doing a program or like hard selling anybody on anything. And to kind of give you a little backstory, kind of go back just a little bit, my husband, the Beast, as many of you know him affectionately, he is a professor of German studies at our local university in southern Indiana, Indiana University Southeast. And I met him we got married. I met him in 1999, and we got married in 2000. and so we'll be married for 15 years this coming year. And he and I have had a long, hard haul together. He for most of our marriage, he was in graduate school, and I was all about supporting him and getting him to where he needed to be, so that he could support our family, because I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And hang on just a second. And so I was like, sure, you do what you have to do. I mean, many times I felt like a single mom, because he would be gone from 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and I wouldn't even see him before I went to bed, because he was writing and working. He has a master's and PhD, and we had our first child within that whole time. And I just thought, whatever I got to do to get you set up in that dream job that you want, because I want you to be happy doing the job you have to do to support my family, because, you know, you're going to be the one working. And so we got that set up. And then right about the time he was entering the job market, everything just kind of, their universities are like, languages? Who needs to study foreign languages? Cut those programs out. Nobody needs to know anything about German. So, and then of course, salaries went way down and were not at all what we had anticipated them being. And now fast forward to this moment with this statement in my hand, and I realized that subconsciously I had been thinking, well, buddy, this is the deal we made. And if you're not making ends meet, then I guess you better go get a third shift job or something, because this is what we discussed, and it's not working out. And I realized all of a sudden that I was harboring this kind of unspoken bitterness towards him a little bit. And I was digging my heels in. I was already teaching several fitness classes a week, and I was trying to take on extra things as I could, you know, and I was kind of bitter. And I feel like God put this statement in my hands, and he was like, Mandy, I am putting this opportunity right in your lap, and you are a fool if you don't look at it and realize that it is exactly what you enjoy doing. You're a fool if you don't take advantage of it. Because to me, being a coach is it being a coach to me is being a professional encourager. And that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about helping women in particular, obviously, because I can identify with them a bit more. Sorry, Luke. Helping them understand that they are worth the time and the effort, particularly moms who never feel like they can take a moment for themselves. I have such a passion for helping them truly believe that they are worth it, and that it's actually more beneficial to their family when they do it. And I'm also very passionate about leading people, helping them to truly believe that this isn't for somebody else, that this is for them too. Their history they may have never exercised or given a thought about what they put into their mouth before. And consequently, they have continued to tell themselves every time they see a fitness model or, a woman in a bikini on the front of a magazine, that's just not something that's for me. I can't do that. It's just not available to me. I'm not that type of person. And after I actually did my first round of the 21-day fix, I realized, as confident a person as I am, I'm a fairly confident person, I realized I believed those lies about my strength, because I was always the weak kid. Many of you have seen my posts where I said in high school I cried during the push-up test. That is not a joke. I really did cry. I remember crying in front of my friends doing the push-up test and realizing I am so weak. And thinking in my head, that's just how I am. I'm the skinny person who can't get stronger. And in reality, I just didn't want to admit that. I just didn't want to take the time or know how to go about doing that in a healthy way. And when I originally started on the 21-day fix, I got into it because I wanted to just lose some weight, to get back in my clothes that I had waiting for me in my closet that I knew I could get back into. And a side benefit was that all of a sudden I realized I actually had definition in my arms, and I was getting just stronger. I could tell a difference in my daily life, picking up my toddler and all this. And I realized, wow, I didn't think this was possible. And so I feel like our job, and I had you guys, if you had a chance or not to watch it, that's fine. I posted that link to that video that actually Stephanie posted several months back in our coaching group, the 100-0 Principle, which I've actually never even read that book that it links to. I just was very inspired by that video, because what that video explains to me, describes to me, is love. And I want people, when they encounter me as a person, as a coach, to know that they are loved, that somebody in this world loves them. And you can't love unless you're giving all of yourself. And our culture will tell you that that's foolish, that you're opening yourself up for all sorts of hurt and sorrow and pain. And that may be the case, but I feel like if I'm coming to people and I'm guarded, they're going to be guarded too. They have to believe that I'm all in for them no matter what they do. Otherwise, they're never going to trust me as a coach. And I have people in my group. I've got about 180 people in my free group right now, which I started in April. And probably about 70% of the women in the group have been in there since April and have never done a Beachbody program. And I'm okay with that, because they are, I'm hearing them say things constantly like, I love this group. Just like randomly posting comments like, I just love this group. I love the encouragement that I get here, the support I get here. I'm telling my friends about it, because it's a place I feel like I can talk about my struggles, and I can identify with other women who are going through the same things, and people who are telling me that because of the 21-day fix program that they decided to try, you know, that they ended up deciding that they realized they needed to talk to a counselor or a psychologist about some issues that they were realizing once they started kind of examining their total health and wellness that they needed to kind of face finally. And people sending me messages telling me things like that. It's such an honor. So I just want to encourage you guys to, I know it's not easy, because especially if this is something you got into to make money, right? I understand that's a very real concern for some of us, and I don't discount that at all. But I will say that the times when even I have thought, you know what, I really want to make some extra money this next week because I have XYZ coming up, or I know we could really use this extra money for whatever. Anytime I get focused on that aspect of it, I start to get stressed out. I get angry with my family. I get impatient. I don't look at the women in my group as people anymore. I mean, I'm being real here. I start to think like, okay, I don't have time to talk to you right now because this is not something that could make me money at the moment. And if that's you really have to ask yourself that question if that's your primary motivator, because if it is, things are going to be a struggle. They just are, and you're going to be frustrated. I'm not saying you're going to be frustrated because you're not going to make money.
Hello.
You're just going to be frustrated because you're
Definitely.
just going to see people as a figure and a means to an end. Whereas if we're really trying to help people establish new goals, establish new healthy habits, and a lifestyle change, not get to your pant size and then see you later. If we're really trying to do that, which is what I'm really trying to do, I have to see them as people. And no, you can't be close friends and BFFs with everybody in your friend group. I know that's not even a possibility. But if they think even for 1 second that you're only interested in them because of their money, they're going to know it. You know it. You've dealt with people like that yourself before, and you know it. And you don't want anything to do with them as soon as you realize it. And so, yeah, as hard as it might be to do the things that were, those quotes that were coming across the screen in that video, you know, to give respect to people, even sometimes when you think they do not deserve respect. I know that it's hard and it's really counterintuitive, but sometimes people just need somebody to trust them and open up to them before they're willing to open up to you. And we deal in such a very specific type of business where people aren't going to have that life change that we really want for them if they're not willing to open up and be honest with themselves and sometimes with other people, right? They need that extra step to encourage them to make those changes. They need that accountability, and they're not going to be able to be accountable unless they're willing to be honest with other people. So, yeah, we just kind of be vulnerable with them and show them it's okay to be vulnerable with us. Yeah. So here I am coaching at the end of my first not even full year, and I love it. I love the people that I get to interact with and help. I don't even know if this is helping you guys at all, if it's interesting. Stephanie asked me, and I like to talk, but I'm not always the best speaker in front of a group of people because I can prattle on. So I'm just going to stop right there for just a second and let myself breathe and give you a chance to say, okay, why didn't you talk about this? Or and remind me of anything you think I should have talked about. Anyone? How are you guys feeling with your free groups? I'm assuming, do all of you have a free group, a free Facebook group?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I have a free Facebook group. I only have like a couple of people signed up so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was the same way in the beginning because I've seen some people who make their free Facebook group and they just go and add a bunch of people without even asking them. I don't know about you, but sometimes if people have added me to like their, no offense if you like Jamberry or whatever, but people invite me or add me to their groups, I'm just like, I didn't ask you to add me to this group. And even if it was like the best thing in the world, like just because they didn't ask me, I want to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. So I went on I asked every person, and it was slow going at first. But I recently did a challenge in my group that was a free challenge that Kenna Shell posted in her group. I'm not sure if you guys are in her, is it GFHM? Anyway, it's the pick a day challenge, where every day you just ask your challengers to just post a picture, and for the most part they're just completely random, like post a picture of yourself in a hat, or post a picture that shows your job, or post a picture that shows your family or your car, completely unrelated to fitness or nutrition. And I just did that in my group, and I would say I've had my group going since April. That challenge, man, it brought everybody out of their shells, and everybody, I mean, because everybody can wear a hat. Everybody has some sort of car that they get around in. Usually they have a job or they have family they want to talk about. Everybody can relate on that, and they like to get to know each other and see their kids, or to learn a little bit more about them than just, oh, I went to a party and I was good and I didn't eat 5 chocolate chip cookies like I wanted to. Like, okay. You know, this challenge more than anything has really brought about like a family, like a camaraderie feeling in my group. And people are cracking jokes now and posting other little things that just feel more like a family than it does just a group where like, and I don't know, like you, if you were to go to like a Weight Watchers accountability group and check in, you know, hi, my name's Mandy and I didn't do this week, or I did this, yay. It's become more than that. And consequently, it has made people open up in other areas as well, you know, relating to health and wellness. And I mean, we've had all different kinds of subjects come up now because people feel more comfortable with each other. I mean, talking about sexuality, and which is something I honestly wanted to have a discussion about with some women in our group, but I didn't know. I was like, well, I don't want to be like, hey, let's talk about that. but all of a sudden some women they started feeling comfortable with each other, and I just think that that's wonderful. And I've had multiple times women say in the group, I wish there was a way I could just cancel out my regular Facebook news feed and have it be just the To Your Health, that's the name of my group, To Your Health, have it just be the To Your Health news feed. And that's been since we've been doing this pick a day challenge, and it's so easy. Kenna had posted it, and I posted it a couple weeks ago. I kind of tweaked it and made my own. I did a points system with it, and I gave out a prize. You don't have to do that, but it was just really a lot of fun, and no like a non-pressure thing. Like if they didn't do it, they didn't feel like they were letting themselves down or making a huge, you know, oh, I didn't follow through with the 21-day fix, or it was a no. It wasn't high stakes. It was just fun, like a game. So if you're struggling, like if you feel like you're struggling with getting chatter going on in your group, try something like that. That's just fun, and it may feel like you don't have time to do something like that, but it will be so worth it in the end, as far as creating that community.
In the free challenge or in the free group, really should be our like focus is communication and stuff. I mean, do we still focus on the programs that we're doing and stuff like that, or how exactly do you go about the free challenge group every day?
So I was just talking with Stephanie about this in my group. I will have every like 4 or 6 weeks, I'll post like different options for challenges. So I usually always run a 21-day fixed group once a month. And then I will offer different types of free challenges. Like one was a time management challenge, just because I always come up against people saying, I just don't have time. And so I found this really nice document that's just one sheet of paper, and it's every day of the week, broken down into 30-minute increments from like 5 in the morning until 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I asked them just to, the first step is to, at the end of a day, sit down with that piece of paper and see how they used their time, and do that for a couple days. And then the next step is to make a schedule for the next day and see how closely they can stick to it. Because usually what happens is people will do that first step and they realize, wow, I really am not using my time very well. At least that's what happened for me when I did it. I can't say that's 100% what happens for everyone all the time. But anyway, when I have a challenge like that going on, I always give a bit more of myself, my personal attention to my program challengers, right? We're doing 21-day fix, for example. I will, on Sunday is the day that I do it, I'll go in my group and I'll do a big shout out and I'll say, all right, time management challengers, and I tag the people who are in that challenge. How's it going this week? Some of you have been posting, because that's the one requirement I have for all of my challenges is you have to post at least one thing each day of the challenge. It can be a success, it can be a struggle, it can be a question, it can be a picture, just something to keep you coming back, right? And accountable. So that's my only requirement, is that they post once a day. And so I'll say, hey, if I don't see them posting, I'll be like, hey, I haven't seen any of you guys posting about this free challenge that you're doing. What's going on? And some people will say something, some people won't. But I'll do kind of a general shout out like that. With my 21-day fixers, I'll do the same type of a shout out, but then I also will message them each specifically, individually, at least once a week. I send them a personal message and I say, hey, how's it going? How can I further support you? You know, am I being too much? Do you want more? Do you want less? And just kind of powwow with them personally at least once a week. So there's a lot of activity going on in my group, but I like that because everybody gets to see the different types of challenges and what they look like. Some people aren't ready to commit to the 21-day fix yet, and they want to see what it looks like to go through it. So that's been good. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay. I know we've got about like 8 minutes left. Sorry. I didn't know if there was another question or
Something.
comment.
Where did you get your guidance to start your first free group? Like I haven't started that yet. I've completed the 30-day training, but it was pretty vague in terms of pointing me in the right direction of how to get started in the first place.
Honestly, I just, from being in Sophie's group, Team Revive and Thrive, and then my mom just randomly started this kind of accountability group on Facebook just for health and wellness. And I thought, okay, well, how hard can it be? So I didn't really get a lot of training. I just and one of the things that I'm constantly told by Sophie and by Stephanie is that sometimes you just have to do it. Like there's no like, if you are waiting until you feel ready to try something, you're not going to. And that's a big deal for me because I'm a type A personality where I'm like, okay, I want to know, give me the Lego directions and I'll make that building. Okay. And if you wait for that to happen, you won't do a lot of things. It's scary because you could mess up, but I think that's part of being vulnerable with your team and saying, you know what, I did this and I maybe should have did it a different way. I'm sorry. But I think the less like high pressure you make it for yourself, just open up a group and be like, hey, I'm just opening this group for folks to talk to each other about their problems, you know, that they think they struggle with, and all of that. So, and to just kind of see what it looks like for you. Does that answer it?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? I know, Luke, you told me to mute all, but yeah. Is that Sophie?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm weird. She will not brag on herself at all, but I really, really, really want everyone to take note that, like, seriously, I know you guys can't see the group, but I'm in her group, just to observe and kind of, honestly, I learned from her. This woman is the relationship queen, and you know, don't be fooled by her saying that, you know, she really just focuses on the people. She does really just focus on the people, and she is not out for a sale ever. But don't be fooled by that and think that she's not getting this. Mandy is making consistently, at least for the last several months, she's making more sales than I am. You know, she is consistently getting tons of success at this point. This is what means us for saying, you know, I don't worry about the business end. I just focus on the relationship. No, her eyes are on the relationship is her success in the business. And so when you hear top coaches say, you know, the second you take the focus off of yourself and your goals and you just focus on helping people, then you will become successful. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about investing in relationships and making people feel utterly loved and supported, regardless of whether they ever. That's how you put tips. And so that and point out how it correlates, and that's what the people are saying when they mention it.
Awesome. Thank you, Sophie. I do have an assignment from Stephanie to mention to you guys that she's wanting to start a holiday accountability challenge group, I think on Wednesday. So maybe she'll be posting something about that, where it's basically just going to be kind of a, it's a free group for anybody can participate. Basically keeping themselves accountable through this crazy, sketchy time. If they don't want to gain a bunch of weight, eating cookies and drinking eggnog, or wine. So yeah, that's going to be happening, and I think that she's going to start a separate group to place people in for that. So if you'd be interested in doing something like that with your peeps, be looking out for her to post that. Another thing, just so you know, like, I'm very uncomfortable setting goals for myself. And this is something that Stephanie and Sophie have both asked me to do. Like, when do you want to be at Ruby? When do you want to be a diamond? Blah, blah. Like, I'm the type of person who has a really hard time with that, because if I set a goal, I'm going to hit it, damn it. And if I don't, I get really frustrated and angry and disappointed with myself. That's not healthy at all. So what it has done for me in the past is just made me say, well, I won't set a goal. I'll just get there when I get there. And that can work sometimes, but I am learning to see the value in setting a goal and trying to make an action plan for getting to that goal, whether it's becoming a diamond coach or getting the laundry done this week. Sometimes I need an action plan for the laundry in my house. Let's just be real. Yeah, that's we all have areas where we are strong and areas where we are weak. And if you're not able to pinpoint and identify those areas where you have weaknesses and be willing to hear some encouragement and feedback on those, it's going to be hard. I struggled with that for a little bit. I still struggle with that. because I just like to do everything really, really well that I set out to do. And if I can't, then I think I'm not even going to bother, which is so sad. so this company has really helped me to evaluate myself as a human and how I'm tackling life and going through life. Yeah, so we've got 1:50 left. I really, really hope that this has been of some benefit to some of you. Any final questions or comments or complaints? Do not have Mandy do a call again, Luke. Chatting her.
Yeah.
Anyone else? We still have a minute 20.
You did fine.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Wait, were you saying something, Sophie?
No, I was just saying you did awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Seriously, you're an awesome coach. We will all be wise to follow your example and seriously.
Well, thanks. We have less than a minute, so I guess I will say I love you guys, even though I've not even met most of you in real life, like person to person. Someday we will. Have a good night. Merry Christmas if I don't talk to you before.
Oh, is that successful to go get it? Okay.
Okay, I'm ending the meeting.
Thank you.